What's up, everybody? Joshua Thomas Gray here with another episode of We Are Human. Super pumped today. I've got Jake, who's my trainer, and he's the owner-operator of Lab Athletics. He's repping his sweatshirt right here. Yeah, dude, I'm super pumped for this.
Dude,
I think it's going to be awesome. I think there's, hearing your story is going to be awesome. I know you have a really cool story, but then also I think we're actually going to get, a lot of entrepreneurial information, fitness information, just mindset information that could be really helpful for a lot of people. So I'm just super pumped about all this.
Dude, hopefully we can inspire some people today.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it'll be rad.
Yeah. Dude, okay. So as you know, this is a full encompassing story of your life. So we're going to just hit it off, start out with where you're from, where you're born, and we'll just keep going.
Dude, cool. So I was born in the PNW, best spot on earth, man. Bellingham, Washington, grew up in Beeham, went to high school in Bellingham, went down to Seattle for a little bit for college, and then ended up finishing college back here at Western because I found out the city's just not my thing.
Nice.
Yeah. And so
where in Seattle did you go to school?
Dude, I went to Seattle Pacific University.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you actually were just I don't like living in the city.
Yeah, man, for me, I love the mountains. I love getting outside. I love being out in nature. And part of that was I didn't really have a car down there too. So I was just kind of in the city, and I'd have to have find buddies. I'd be let's go skiing this weekend, or let's get out of the city and go do stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a cool experience, living in Seattle for a year and a half, but then I just wasn't able to get out and do the stuff that I, love to do every day. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I totally jumped in there.
No, it's good.
Born and raised here in Bellingham, pretty much. So do you have siblings?
Yeah, so I got a younger brother, Luke, who's awesome.
Yeah.
2 years younger than me. And then my mom and dad, who are 60 now, they're freaking rad.
Yeah.
Parents are just badasses.
I see them in the gym.
Yeah, I feel
they are.
The way I am today is because how, they raised me and, all the stuff that they made me do as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
Pretty fast-paced parents, pretty driven parents. Yeah, and they would just always have us doing different activities growing up. Ton of outdoor stuff, ton of sports.
What kind of stuff then? Let's get into it. Where did you grow up here?
The day my mom had me, the day I was born, she was cross-country skiing with me in her belly.
The day you were born?
The day of, this
is explaining a lot about you.
They're on a 10-mile cross-country ski trip, and then they're coming down from Mount Baker.
Yeah.
And then they're oh shit, we need to go to the hospital right now.
What the heck, dude?
Yeah.
They went straight from that to the hospital?
They went home and stuff for a little bit, changed, and then they're okay, I think we're having a kid right now.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so, who knows if that's why I love the mountains so much.
Dude, for real.
Then, after I was born, I was on skis. I was in my dad's backpack. He was skiing around with me before I could walk.
Yeah.
So I was always just out in nature and doing crazy stuff even.
Yeah,
from day one.
Is your brother older than you or younger?
He's younger.
So you're the first child that they had.
Yep.
And they were just going for it.
Dude, going for it.
Dude, it's so cool to see parents who just throw their kids in a backpack and just
totally
hike up trails.
It's probably if people saw them doing the stuff with me and my brother back in the day, they'd be these are terrible parents. They're unsafe with their kids.
Right.
But I'll be doing the same stuff with my kids when I have kids,
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dang. So what were some of your favorite activities as a kid?
Dude, so skiing is way up there.
Yeah.
Just because I still love skiing. It's dumping up Baker right now. I'm so stoked for opening day. I've had a season's pass up at Mount Baker since I was probably 4 or 5.
Wow.
And so just being in the mountains, we would always, for our vacations growing up, it was always ski trips. It was always traveling. We didn't go somewhere hot until I was in high school. Every trip would always be a ski trip.
Right.
And so then when we finally did go somewhere hot, it was I saw people surfing for the first time, and I was wow, that looks rad. It's kind of like skiing but in water.
Right.
Yeah. And so then that's when I rented my first surfboard and kind of got hooked on that lifestyle. Or I really sucked at it at first.
Yeah.
But I was I want to just get better
at that.
Pummeled by wave after wave.
Yeah.
So I was cool, this is something I want to conquer. And I was how can I do this back in the PNW,
Right.
Then we learned about cold water surfing and all that stuff.
Yeah. Which is actually crazy surf happens here, but dude, of course in winter, when it's just raging and insane.
Totally. And just people don't realize it, growing up in Washington,
Right.
It's we do have an ocean.
Yeah.
We do have awesome beaches.
Right.
But it's pretty far out there.
And it's just kind of not talked about intentionally.
Totally.
Like the surf community doesn't want people
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah. It's
But at the
kept on
same
DL.
time, it's friggin' horrible weather conditions. So I don't think they need to hide it. Like nobody's going to just be
only
for
the
fun.
crazy people. Are
Only
gonna
the
be going
crazy
out there.
people.
Yeah.
Because it's like literally if a raging winter storm is coming through, there's going to be some crazy surf.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody's going to do that unless they're crazy. So I think you're fine.
Dude, yep. What else, man? Like growing up, so like skiing was a huge part of our lifestyles and like being up in the mountains. And then my parents, like they always had me on the strict and narrow as far as sports and like school goes.
Yeah.
And so they started me doing like everything super young. And so which
like
I'm
school sports too?
Yeah. And so like basketball was like my sport growing up.
Okay.
And so we're now like I'm obsessed with like gym stuff and like ultra endurance stuff is kind of my next move that I'm going into. Growing up, I'd just be spending hours a day like balling in my alleyway.
Yeah.
And so that was like my big thing growing up is like AU into high school. I was like starting point guard for 3 years at Bellingham High. That was like my life outside of like all the outdoor stuff I was doing. And then they also started me playing the violin when I was like 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
And so I took like private violin lessons all up into college. And then actually had a scholarship for like the symphony at Seattle Pacific University.
Oh, dang. So you're like good.
Yeah, I was
Do you
like,
still play?
I was really good. No.
Is that something that you kind of were just made to do? And then later you were like, I don't really want to do this.
Or like, yeah.
But you were really good at it.
Yeah. So like my parents would, they would like make me practice my violin for like an hour to an hour and a half per day.
Dang,
and then I would get to watch sports on TV if I was good and I practiced my violin, right?
Wow.
And so, but I did enjoy it because I was good at it.
Right.
But it wasn't something that I would like do on my own.
Right.
But it was cool being really good at it. And I've always liked performing. So like getting up in the orchestra and, performing in front of people was a cool part of it. But
dude, that's crazy. So when's the last time you played a violin?
Dude, the last time I played was like literally, I think I put on like a little concert for my mom for Christmas after I got done playing at like SPU.
Yeah.
And then it was actually my uncle's like super nice few $1,000 violin and he wanted it back for his kid. And so we gave it back and then we've been violinless ever since.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I'm not really
You never have an urge
out.
to like pick one up and play it?
Every now and then it'd be cool just to mess around on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
crazy.
Yeah. But you can only do so much in a day too.
Right.
Like we got a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
So,
for real.
yeah.
Dang, dude. Okay. So were you like a good student? Was school easy?
Yeah. So
grade wise?
So school was it never came super easy to me, but I'd try really hard because, I was raised that like, hey, you're going to go to school, you're going to get really good grades. You're going to go to a really good college or like whatever college you want to go to.
Yeah.
You're going to get an awesome job. And then you're going to go into the workforce and work for people and, make some good money and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like definitely education was stressed a lot in my household as far as getting good grades. And so I was like a super good student all through middle school, high school. And then when I got to college, I realized like, hey, for my major and what I want to do, like I can get C's and B's and it's going to be fine.
Right.
And so I think that's where, like I realized that education, like I could go do all the fun stuff I love and not try as hard at school and still like get by and get through it.
Was that because you no longer lived with your parents?
Yeah.
And you could make this choice?
Totally. That's like where I was on my own and, I was in control at that point. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to make sure you do all of your homework.
Right.
You do everything.
So you were getting like A's?
Yeah. So like my GPA in high school was like a 3.85 or something. Okay. So it was good.
Yeah. Super good. And then you got off on your own and you were like, wait a minute, I don't need to put this much effort into...
Like my first year of college, I did really good. I was like at a 3.7 or something.
Yeah.
So I put a ton of effort in. And then when I got to Western, I was like, dude, I just want to ski.
Yeah.
And I want to like have fun. I want to party a little bit. And so that's where like the grades and everything took the back seat.
Right.
So it was like college was more of like a social time for me, I feel like.
Yeah.
Then like, let's buckle down and let's get really good grades right now.
Right. Did you know what you were going to college for?
So this kind of goes full circle. So when I was at Seattle Pacific University, I was like, oh, I'm going to do exercise science. Like I want to be in the like health and fitness world. Yeah. For, and then when I went back to Western, I was like, okay, I don't think personal trainers make a lot of money.
Right.
So like, let's go get a business degree in operations management, because they're like, their job, what is it, like placement was at like 90% straight out of like college. And it was like, cool, the average person is making like $60,000 a year. And I was like, dope, I want to make $60,000 a year. Like, you know, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of picked that major, and people are like, it's in super high demand. Like, we need people that are doing operations management and like supply chain stuff. So that's where I kind of picked that major and switched gears from like exercise science to that. But now it's like, we both know I'm back in the health and fitness world, you know?
Right. But also business. So that all kind of worked together.
Yeah, totally.
Nice.
And now I'm like, man, maybe I should have paid attention more.
Probably doesn't matter, dude.
Yeah. The real world experience is way different than the classroom experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And now that you're in it and doing it, just find mentors that you can just ask the questions of like, dude, I don't freaking know what's going on here.
And that's what I realized when I did open my business, is like, okay, the book stuff that we learned in college does not, like, this is not applying at all to running a real business.
Right. Or like a small business.
Yeah.
Totally different than maybe what they were teaching you for like managing like a medium size or large company.
Totally.
As like a manager with teams. And it's like, no, it's just me.
Yeah. And like the whole marketing classes, like,
dude, those are
social media. Oh my gosh.
Like so useless now.
So useless. Yeah.
It's like, doesn't even make sense.
There's zero marketing taught on social media.
Right.
You know, like there's nothing.
And even if it would be so irrelevant by now that it's like, that education has to be happening on a weekly or monthly.
Yeah.
You just have to be doing it and learning it from people who are currently doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dang, dude. Yeah. Okay, so we're just like breezing through your childhood here.
Yeah.
Are there any stories that like stuck out that you think kind of have defined? I mean, all of those totally make sense. I'm like, dang, that makes a lot of sense. But is there anything else in your childhood that you're like looking back now that you're older and being like, that makes like a lot of sense how this thing happened in my childhood and how I am today?
Yeah. So I think like some stories of like failure are really good. And so it's like growing up, like I wasn't like the star athlete, like sports didn't come naturally to me. Like I had to try really hard to get good at stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And so one experience that really sticks out is I always wanted to make like the AAU basketball team. And you know, I'd practice for hours, like I'll always remember this, the first like team I was on, like Boys and Girls Club back in like kindergarten. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't score like one basket the entire year, like not one shot. And the very last game, I like made my first hoop, and like everybody went crazy, you know, like all the players were going crazy. The coach was going crazy. So I was like one of the worst people on the team.
Yeah.
And I just remember like getting like 5 Capri Suns after that game. Yeah. I made like a basket, you know? And so like that's how my like basketball career started off. And then I remember trying out for it was like the 6th grade AAU team. And I just got cut like right away from that. And I was like, cool, I'm going to come back next year, try to make it again. And then in 7th grade, you know, there's all those like kind of like political stuff when it comes to families and people knowing the coach and everything. And so even though I was totally good enough to be on the team, like, you know, looking at the other players, I was like, dude, I should be on this team. But like I got cut again, right? And then coming into 8th grade, I finally made the AAU team. And so I was like, boom, that was a huge win. Like working for like, you know, basically kind of like a 7-year time frame, even when I was like a little kid, to like hit that one goal. And then my goal was to be, you know, on varsity like as a freshman. Like at Bellingham High School, they didn't put anybody like on varsity as a freshman, right? So like everybody made C team. But then as a sophomore, I was the only kid to make varsity as a sophomore. Nice. And so that was like huge landmark for me, and just kind of shows that like, I think that's where I learned like failing is okay as long as like you keep going and you keep trying, you don't like give up or don't stop.
Yeah.
Like when you don't achieve that end goal that you want.
Yeah.
And then like ended up being the best, you know, basketball player on our team, like senior year, got MVP, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think that's where it comes kind of full circle into entrepreneurship and being like, cool, it's okay if I don't succeed at first or if I fail, but I'm gonna like learn from that stuff and keep getting better at it.
Dude, is that weird though, that you were so young and were so driven and had the, like, what makes you have confidence in being like, oh, I just got cut, but I'll be back next year.
Totally.
Is that
so
just genetics? Is that parents?
Dude, that's a great question, because I think they're like inherently we have genetic traits that like some people are just more driven than others, right? Like some people, like some kids you can just see like on the court or whatever sport they're playing, like that dude is getting after it and he just inherently like has that kind of trait in him.
Right.
But also my parents were super supportive. Like when I would fail, they're like, okay, you're like, we're going to practice, or like, we're going to do whatever it takes. We'll send you to like all these different basketball camps to try to get better at this. And so they were like really supportive of what I wanted to do. And when stuff wouldn't go my way, they weren't the type of parents to be like, oh, we feel sorry for you.
Right.
You know, like try better next year. They're like, hey, you just need to like try more, and you need to practice more, and you need to get better. And so they wouldn't like, they would just push me to be better and to, you know, actually like gain the skills that I needed in order to achieve that stuff. So I think they had a big part of like me progressing and like developing that mindset too.
Right. Like they wouldn't sugarcoat things. Like if you weren't good, they wouldn't be like, oh, you're great, that was their fault. Like they'd tell you like, you're just not good enough actually, but here, practice more.
Yeah.
Try again next year.
And like same with school, like I still have the worst handwriting ever. Like you've seen it. It is terrible
too.
Yeah. And so my parents would like make me redo my homework. Like every homework assignment, they'd like make me redo it and try to get better at like have better like handwriting. Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they weren't the type of people to be like, okay, this is average. That's okay. Like it was like, you need to get better and you need to do like the best job you can with everything that you do.
Wow.
So I feel like they helped me develop kind of that mindset.
Yeah. Did that ever feel like too intense?
Dude, I mean, now looking back, it's like I always have my life is always really busy. Yeah. And I think it's because like I can handle stress really well, because, you know, I'd be going from like soccer practice to basketball practice to violin practice, and I'd just be going all day long and learning all these different things and getting better at all these different things. And so like where some people would stress them out in life, for me, it's like normal.
That's just always been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What did both of your parents work, or what was that
so
like?
My dad worked for Frito-Lay. He finally retired, which is awesome.
Nice.
He's a great dude. He went through like, you know, big up and downs with that company. So he worked for Frito-Lay for a long time, I think like 20, 25 years. And then my mom had some like entrepreneurship in her. She she started working for DK Books, which is like a multi-level like marketing company for like children's books.
Gotcha.
And she built up to like top 10 in the entire country, and like she was slaying it.
Nice.
Slaying it. And she was, I think, like making around $50,000-$60,000 a month just like selling children's books, right? And so I remember like as a kid, she was like flying all over the country, and I was like, Dad, where's mom at? You know, he's like, oh, she's like running this business thing. And I had no idea what was going on at the time because I was pretty little. Yeah. And then this is where like big stress kind of hit our family. They had like invested all the money she was making into like stocks right before like the 2000 like stock bubble burst basically. And so like a bunch of her friends, they had like invested in houses and real estate and had like basically lost everything, went bankrupt. At least my parents hadn't done that. And so like basically the company got bought out by Penguin Books, and then Penguin Books just said like, we're done with all the home distributors, which my mom was. And so they lost like all that money that they had gained. But I just, you know, I think that's where I saw kind of the first like, you know, bit of entrepreneurship in my family. Yeah. And kind of like got interested in business a little bit.
How old were you then?
Dude, so I was like 12 to 13.
But you like remember that?
Yeah, totally.
Dang.
I just remember like having like, you know, my parents like getting nicer things and like just being like, huh,
was that
I wonder
new
what's
for
like,
your parents?
Yeah, totally new.
Like having money, was that a new thing for them?
That was like a big new thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like, it was cool seeing like their relationship go through like the up and downs, because it was like huge stress on our family at that time.
Right.
And like, I just remember like an ambulance pulling up to my house, and my dad had like a stress heart attack. Whoa. And that was like the first signs of kind of like his health declining from like what was going on. But yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, we didn't like grow up with like a ton of money. It was like middle income families, you know. Dad's working at Frito-Lay, stocking shelves, like working his ass off. Yeah. Providing for our family. Like we always had what we needed, and like a little bit more like for vacations and that stuff. Right. We lived a super good life, but it wasn't like, you know, we're just in, you know, Broadway Park by like Bellingham High School.
Right. Dang.
Yeah. But it was a great childhood.
Yeah. So then, I mean, what from before getting to college, is there any other like stories or things in your childhood that you think are worth bringing up?
Dude, let's see here. So I feel like just, getting the chance to play sports and getting mentorship from different coaches and different like figures in my life.
Yeah.
I think I basically at a younger age saw the value in that and what it like, how it progressed people, like my friends and people that played sports and people that were getting coaching, and just kind of like the level, just how you think about things, right? Because you have people that are kind of dissecting your life, how you're living it, and giving you tools and opportunities to progress and become better at things.
Yeah.
And then another thing is in high school, I was part of Awesome Young Life group. We had like Campaigners, which is where me and like 8 friends would meet up every single Sunday. And we had our mentor, who is John Knutson, awesome dude. And we would just talk about life, and be like the 3 W's: women, work, and your walk with God. And so it was like, basically we would be mentoring each other on how we could become better in all 3 of those areas.
Yeah.
And so that was like mentorship and learning and growth has always been a part of like my childhood.
Yeah.
And it was just part of growing up.
Dude, and that's like such a huge thing. Like as a kid, having an adult who's like a mentor, like through programs like that, but also sports.
Totally.
But it sucks all the kids that don't get that, or even if they play sports, like they just never made a good connection with the coach or something. But like the effects of having an adult in the community like listen to you
and that like cares about your outcomes
is so life altering. It's insane. It
is
happens just by chance or doesn't happen by chance.
It's basically the environment that you're like brought into a lot of the time, right?
It just so happens that you get those things and the people come into your life.
Yeah.
That's the same like with me. If it weren't for some of like the youth group programs or this or that, like a couple of the adults in our community that invested their time into me, I'm like, I would have probably had such a different outcome in life. It's insane.
It's because if I look at other people I know growing up and I put myself like in their environment, in their shoes, it's like I'd probably be making some of the really bad decisions that those people were making.
Exactly.
And it's not like their fault. It's really, they're just a product of their environment.
Right.
And it's like, at the end of the day, you can go try to seek out other stuff, but like growing up at that age, you're not thinking about that stuff.
Right.
Like,
yeah, exactly. Dude, so it sounds like you're freaking such a self-aware high schooler. Is this
dude, I think
more
looking back, I'm self-aware, but
you're thinking in terms of now looking back and thinking through it, but in the present as a high schooler, were you actually like that self-aware, or it was just kind of natural and it was happening?
So, I mean, I think I was self-aware about, my work ethic and what I wanted more in the short term out of like going to college. And but I knew like that the more work and the better I get at stuff, like the more rewards I'm going to get in the end, you know? And so I think like the work ethic, the drive, setting goals and like achieving those goals like came pretty naturally.
Yeah.
But now I think looking back at like how mentorship and like the people in my life affected those outcomes, like that's in hindsight,
Yeah. And now it's just like, holy crap.
Yeah. It's like that was really cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I was always like a kid too that would, I'd always like try to take opportunities if they're presented to me. And so like with the Young Life thing, it was like, hey, we have some opportunities for people to become Young Life leaders at the high school. Like who wants to do that? And I was like, cool, I'll become a Young Life leader and try to help other people out, like come into this community that like has helped me out with life.
Yeah.
And so I guess like taking risks and like getting outside your comfort zone has like always been something that I've enjoyed doing because I've always seen like growth happen when we take those risks and those opportunities.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's crazy, dude. That's cool.
Yeah. But
that's amazing.
Dude, I haven't looked back on like life like this in a long time. So it's pretty rad.
It's fun to sit down with somebody and walk through their whole life.
Yeah.
Because you start seeing all the connections.
Totally.
And when it's in one sitting, it's amazing because it's so much of what you're currently doing is so tied actually to all these life circumstances.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But like it's just crazy how self-aware you already are of like how much like, but that makes sense because you're actually intentional about how you're living your life and everything of what you're doing. And what you just said, putting yourself into like leadership positions forces growth.
Yeah. And there's
like, you can't not be thinking through like how you are as a leader when you own and run a business, or
for sure
you want to accomplish something new, which then makes you just more self-aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always been times too where like for basketball, like I didn't want to be the leader of the team, and I kind of like resisted it because it was like scary, you know? And that was like probably one of the first times I was asked to be like, all right, you're the point guard, you're on varsity, you're a sophomore, like you should be like leading this team, and there's people older than me. And that's like where, you know, I did kind of fail at the start, and I got replaced by an older dude to become like, you know, the starting point guard like midway in the season, because I didn't have that confidence and I didn't know how to lead a team. And, you know, I think that was like something that was pretty hard for me. It was like getting pushed back on the sidelines and seeing somebody take over. Yeah. But then also it was like, okay, this is what I need to develop next year to like lead our team. But I think just like maturing and getting older, like it comes easier when you're leading people of like the same age as a high schooler, you know?
Right. Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump into college.
Dude, cool. College.
What is happening?
Dude, what is
Jake
happening?
doing in college?
I was like at SPU and I think I went to SPU originally because I was like, cool, I've been doing this Young Life thing. I'm going to go to Christian college. They have like awesome education. My big thing was like, I want to get out of Bellingham for a while and see what else is out there, because I've lived here my whole life. So I don't want to just like go to Western and, you know, stay put in like the same environment. Right. Because like we're talking about like getting out your comfort zone creates growth, and you're going to learn new things, be around new people, have new experiences. Yeah. Right. So I went down to SPU. It was great. Met like some awesome people. I actually got a phone call from my old roommate yesterday at the gym. He's just like, "What's up, man?" I was like, "Dude, I haven't talked to you in like a year. What's up?" Nice. And so I still stay in contact, you know, with some of those friends and everything, which is rad. But then it was just like a totally different experience, because it's like, and I didn't feel like it was like the college experience I was looking for. It's like guys are in one dorm room, girls are in one dorm room, super strict policies. Yeah. And that's where I probably started like experimenting with alcohol and like having fun and like partying a little bit. Yeah. And got in some trouble. Me and some buddies, like we actually paid like 7% of all of the fines at SPU like freshman year. And so like,
what do you mean paid 7%?
So like we were partying, and if like you get caught drinking, you have to like pay a bunch of money, right?
Oh, so you were 7% of all
all the fines. So like we're
the
going
whole school.
We're going like pretty hard. And so from there I was like, cool, I'm going to stick this out for like a year and a half. And then I'm probably going to transfer back to Western, just because it was the city thing. It was just like the college lifestyle. I didn't feel like I had a ton of freedom. I was like, this is kind of like living at my parents' house a little bit with all these rules. Right. And then I think that's where I kind of like went through I didn't party at all in high school, and I don't party at all now. Yeah. But like I did go through probably like a 3-year phase of like going pretty hard with like alcohol and stuff. Yeah. But that's when I like figured out too that I have a super addictive personality. And so I got to like not do that stuff.
What was going through your head when you like went to your first party?
Yeah. Like basically I was like, cool, everybody else is doing this stuff. I don't want to stay at my dorm room. And so I'm going to go out with my friends and like drink and like do what they're doing. Right. Yeah. And so I think in college, that's when I fell into peer pressure a lot. Yeah. And basically like just kind of went with the flow of what everybody else was doing. Right. And that's like, it was an awesome learning experience as far as like, hey, you need to do you. Right. And like, don't compromise what you want out of life just because other people are living this other lifestyle. Right. And I mean, it was like, I'm kind of glad I went through that party phase, because it showed me what I don't want to be doing. Right. And how I don't want to live my life. And so like, it was good and bad at the same time. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm breaking rules, I'm being so
Yeah.
bad?
Well, like, I think it was like kind of like,
was it a internal struggle, and then you're just like, screw it, I need to do this because I want to do it, and then you just like threw it all out?
Totally. I think it was like, it felt good to do it because like growing up, I felt that, you know, my parents were always like, no drinking, like no smoking weed, like, you know, just straight and narrow. And so like, it felt good to like have the freedom to like explore that stuff a little bit and get it out of my system. But I was like, hey, I actually don't really like doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then what did it start turning into though?
Dude,
and at
so
what
then,
point
like,
did you realize
okay.
like, oh, frick, this is not a good idea?
Totally. So like my dad, I love my dad. He's amazing. He's been clean and sober from alcohol for like 5 years. Right.
Yeah.
And so like growing up, like I knew he had a drinking problem. He'd like gone to rehab a few times, come back.
Like gone to rehab as you were a kid.
Yeah. Like when I was like, when I went into college. And so not as like a kid. I mean, he had that drinking problem all throughout high school. And that's when I realized it was actually a problem, was like in high school.
Yeah.
And then like he was still an awesome dad though. He'd just be like drunk and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And
what would that look like?
Dude, so he'd just be at like basketball games, like yelling and like just.
So people knew this wasn't like
totally.
a hidden family secret or something.
No, people totally knew. My friends knew like he'd come over and just like, I don't know, just say weird shit and like just, it would just like be uncomfortable to be around kind of. Like never abusive or anything like that. Just be like, dude, you're like kind of belligerent right now. Like you should probably chill out and go inside.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But that's where, like when I did start drinking, like I wouldn't just drink a little bit, like I'd go super hard.
Wait, why would though, with seeing your dad like that, what in your mind made you be like, dude, I'm just going to drink a ton then if I'm going to drink?
I think when I like started drinking, it was like, cool, I'm going to forget about all this stuff and like just like put under the carpet.
Yeah.
And yeah, just keep drinking.
Right.
You know?
Were you not thinking about like your dad and growing up when you were drinking? Were you more thinking about like I want to have fun, I want to do, and it wasn't, you weren't correlating those things at all?
Yeah, it was.
You're like, I'm my own person. I'm not my.
It took me until like the last year of college to be like, like I just got 2 urinating in public tickets. Like this is probably
Here
a problem
in
that
Nice.
Yeah, one was like right after I graduated from fire academy, and the other was like Halloween. Me and buddy were like sword fighting in an alleyway, and then like 2 cops came up and they're like, cool, you guys get tickets. We're like, damn it.
Nice.
But yeah, just like little stuff like that where it's like, okay, like if you keep doing this, it's probably going to escalate, you know? Right. There's another, this is like the worst story ever.
Yeah.
There's another time. So I got a MIP, and that's where I was like, I didn't even know this happened. I was like so blacked out drunk. I woke up at 5 p.m. the next day. This is like one of the most embarrassing stories ever, but we're just going to throw it out there.
Let's do it.
Let's go. So I woke up at 5 p.m. the next day. My parents were on vacation in Hawaii, thank God. They actually like I didn't tell them the full story for like probably 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
And so I wake up and I'm like, dude, where's my wallet? Where's my phone? I don't know where anything is. And I thought like the sun was rising, but the sun was setting. Yeah. And so it was like 5 p.m. and like I look at like my arms and my shoulders, and I was like, damn, I got road rash like all over my arms. Like what happened, you know? Jeez. And so, how did I figure out? Oh, so I called a taxi company because I was like, dude, I have no phones. I have nothing. Call my buddy. And he's like, dude, we put you in a taxi and like, they're going to take you home. And I was like, okay. So I called like the yellow cab company, and they're like, yeah, we got your wallet, we got your phone, and you owe us like $35. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I went out there, got it. And when I woke up, I had like this MIP ticket, and I was like, oh damn, I got an MIP last night.
Which is what?
Like minor in possession of alcohol.
Oh, okay.
So I was like 19 at the time. And so I still had no idea what happened. Then I went to court for it, and I was like, cool, this is my first like really bad thing that's happened with the law. I can probably get this deferred, right? And the judge was like, under these circumstances, we are not going to defer this MIP. And I was like, dang, okay, what happened? So like, this is where it gets super embarrassing. So my young life leader in high school was John Knudsen, the dude I talked about. So he was a police officer, right? Yeah. And so I called John. I was like, John, got an MIP. I have no idea what happened. Can you like look at the police report and let me know? And he's like, dude, I don't even want to be your friend right now. And so like I had like jumped out of the taxi and just started like running. And I thought like my neighbor's house was my house because I was just like blacked out. Yeah. And so I was like banging on the door, like trying to like break open the door. And the dude like came with like a gun and pointed at me. And he's like, dude, get the fuck off my porch right now. I don't know who you are. And so he called the cops, and then like the cops arrested me, and they did just take me, like they took me next door and were like, just go to bed.
Yeah.
And so that was like a huge wake up call.
But you don't remember it? You do remember that part?
No.
You don't remember?
No, I do. Like I had no idea.
You had to like hear all of these parts of the stories.
I had to like go detective to like get
figure
the
out
story.
what the heck happened.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So that was definitely a low.
Yeah.
With the drinking.
Right.
Yeah.
So after that it was kind of like a time when you were like,
dude, so that's when my dad went to rehab, got sober, and I was like, cool, I'm basically going to do like the same thing. And so...
Whoa, so he was like in rehab when you had your worst moment.
I think it was like around the same time frame.
Yeah.
It was like not exactly like the same time frame, but it was around the same time frame. Yeah.
And that's when it kind of clicked and you're like...
Yeah. And I was like, all right, he has this problem. I'm starting to have this problem.
Right.
Like, I need to stop doing this stuff.
Did you just stop, or
it was like a gradual thing.
Yeah.
So that's where I started getting really into health and fitness and really into training, and basically like I would replace like training with, instead of like partying and stuff, then I'd be like, dude, I'm training super hard, so that's a reason for me not to go out and party with friends. And then I think it's like right when I got out of college and I moved away from like some of those bad influences in my life, and I wasn't living with like 5 dudes that wanted to rage every single night.
Right.
That like I changed my environment again. Right.
Yeah.
And so from there, I was like, cool, like I'm going to do me right now and focus on what I want. And if people want to go out and party, that's cool. I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's kind of where everything took like a U-turn as far as like health goes, partying, drinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Was your dad coming back from rehab when he sobered up, or did he just relapse and then just at some point
he went to rehab for 3 weeks, and then he's been sober for 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that time when you were in college, he went to rehab, came back, and has been clean ever since.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was actually like right when I was getting done with college. And so like this was right when I started my business. And I was like, dude, I can't be drinking, I can't be partying if I want to run a business. And like, because like if I'm telling people to get healthy and I'm doing all this other stuff on the side, like those two don't go together. Like I'm going to be contradicting myself. I'm going to feel like shit telling people that they shouldn't drink alcohol, they should eat super healthy, they should exercise. And so I need to change my lifestyle right now.
Yeah.
And so like the gym kind of like saved me from going down that other road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, before you started your own gym though, you had been working at other gyms, right?
Totally. So I was working at Fitness Evolution, and I was living with 3 other trainers from Fitness Evo.
Yeah.
Oh, and dude, we would totally party like still back then.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
were you out of college at this point?
I was out of college at this point.
Did you finish like what? How many years?
So yeah, I like finished college. I went fishing up in Alaska.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of money. Then,
which is like a summer.
Yeah.
Like got done with school.
Totally.
Took a fishing job with a crazy dude.
Yeah. Because I got I got out of college and I had an aerospace engineering job at, it's now like Zodiac Aerospace in town. And I was like doing, ordering airplane parts, and I was in this little cubicle.
Gotcha.
And I was like, dude, I can't do this. And then I got
So you got a job like right out of college?
I did, yeah.
And then you were like, this freaking sucks.
Yeah, I was like, this sucks. I'm not going to do this forever. Like corporate life, cool. I had an internship, then I went into a job.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I'm not going to be able to do the corporate life thing.
Yeah.
And so then my buddy Brendan Pape was like, dude, do you want to come fishing in Alaska? I was like, yes, I do. So I just pieced out of there and just rolled up to Alaska for like.
Were your parents supportive of that? Or were they kind of like, what the frick, dude? We wanted you to go to college, and then you were supposed to get like the job that you just had, that you just quit, and then you're going to go fish? You could have done that without a high school degree.
Yeah, I think they're kind of questioning it, but I was just like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like, they've always been cool with my decisions. Like, if I don't like something and I'm like, hey guys, like this isn't going to work out, they're like, okay, then you better go do the other thing.
Do something else.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's where, when I was in Alaska, I was like, okay, what do I really want to do, you know? Because I was on a fishing boat for like 4 months. You got a lot of time to think about stuff. And so that's when I was like, cool, we're going to go into firefighting, get the EMT degree. I want to get a full-time firefighting job. And like, even then I was like, and then I'm going to personal train people on the side.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. What made you think of that?
I was like, so I've always, so growing up to like when I was in college, I was like, man, should I go into the healthcare field? I want to do something where I'm impacting lives and helping people.
Right.
Because that, for me, like in order to be fulfilled, like I have to be helping people get better or achieve something else in their lives.
Right.
It's like, I think us as humans, if we want to be happy with ourselves, like we need to be helping other people and helping other people, fulfill their dreams and aspirations and what they want to achieve.
Right.
We have to be contributing to society in a good way. And so, yeah, that was like part of it. I was like, thought about, there was times in my life early on, like one of my uncles is a doctor and I was like, dude, it'd be super cool to be a doctor. Like he's the freaking man.
Right.
And he's like insanely athletic, does a ton of endurance stuff too. And so like seeing him like live that doctor lifestyle I was like, awesome. He's helping people. He like is super fulfilled in his life. He has an awesome life. Like I want to go do something like that.
Yeah.
But then I didn't want to go to school for like 12 years.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I knew I wouldn't like be sticking it out.
Right.
But that's where I was like, yeah, we're going to do the EMT thing. We're going to do firefighting. I get to like work out on the job. I get to like help people in stressful situations. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So then you started pursuing that.
Yeah. So then
came back from fishing, which we could talk about
boom.
the fishing craziness
Dude, fishing
for a while.
Was nuts, dude. Yeah.
But it's what you think it is. And maybe like even crazier.
The hardest job, like that's where I really learned hardcore work ethic.
Right.
Like I thought I knew what hard work was
until
we were staying up like 3 days in a row, fishing nonstop. You're not sleeping. Super manual labor.
Right.
You're getting yelled at. You're getting told you're a piece of shit. You're worthless. And you're developing like that. Like,
and like one of the crew members is sliding down a thing and chopping his fingers off.
The other crew member's smoking meth. The other one's like drinking himself
and
to
you can't
death.
do anything because you're out in the freaking middle of the ocean in Alaska.
Yeah. Your captain's bipolar. It's like awesome situation.
So you just can't not. You just have to do it.
Yeah. You just have to get through it.
That's crazy.
And grind it out.
Yeah.
And yeah, me and my buddy Brendan both did.
Yeah.
And we were like, I remember one time looking at each other on the boat and being like, dude, is this the most depressed you've been in your life? And we're like, he's like, yeah. And I'm like, good, me too.
You're like, okay.
Yeah.
It makes me feel a little bit better.
We're in the same boat. We're literally on the same boat together.
Literally.
Here. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that was the whole Alaskan experience. It was great. But then when I got back home, I was like, wow, like work is like any job is like easy.
Yeah.
Compared to that.
It's going to be
like,
better than that.
If I want to start a business, I could work 18 hours a day, like trying to get this thing going.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you came back from that, that's when you worked at Fitness Evolution?
Yeah. So I went through school and I had like money just to kind of like live on my own.
Yeah.
So I paid for my EMT certification, did the whole like volunteer firefighter interview process, got hired as a volunteer, sent through academy, met awesome people through there.
Yeah.
Started volunteering for South Wacom Fire in town. And then at that time I was like, okay, I need another job because you don't make anything as a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah.
So then I got my first, I was like, I want to be a personal trainer on the side. Like this is I love fitness. I love working out. At this time I'd been working out for 5 years. So I'd like built up my physique. I knew what I was doing. And I went to Fitness Evolution. I was like, hey guys, I want to be a personal trainer. And they're like, we're not hiring for personal trainers. Went back the next day. I was like, hey, I want to be a personal trainer. They're like, cool, there's no jobs.
Right.
I just kept calling every day. And then I finally called the dude who was my boss on Father's Day. And I was like, hey man, so you got like any personal trainer jobs open? He's like, dude, I'm sitting down with my dad at dinner right now. He's like, just come in on Monday and like stop calling me. I was like, awesome. And so then I got like in there.
Yeah. Did you get your certificate in personal
So I got
training?
my certificate like as I was working for them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay. So then how long was that?
So I worked at Fitness at Evo for a year.
Okay.
Just 1 year. And basically what like kind of changed my mindset is like, hey, I could totally run my own gym. Was I went from like personal training to doing sales to then running the whole like training department and overseeing all of our trainers, operations and that stuff.
Gotcha.
And so I was like running the whole thing, kind of learned the business side of it, got comfortable at actually asking people for money.
Right.
Because at first, like I'd never done sales before.
Right.
But like for me, if there's something that I believe in, it's like working out, changing your health, changing your life. And so like sales came super naturally to me. I was like, these people need this. Like they should be spending money, improving their life, improving their health. And so from there I was like, awesome. Like I just sold $500,000 in personal training in a year. I could totally do this, go out on my own, but like make a gym and a training program that is far superior to what's going on
right
like
here.
in this establishment.
So that happened like pretty early on. I mean, you freaking raised the ranks there in a year. That was all pretty quick. But at what point did you start having the thought of like opening your own gym?
Dude, so even in college, I've always wanted to have a gym. So in college, I remember like sitting there and I'd like be drawing out like gym like layouts.
Nice.
I'd be like looking at equipment and like being like, okay, we're gonna put this here, we're gonna put this here. And I remember like showing my buddy Ezra. I was like, yo, Ezra, check out this like dope gym I just like made on like this CAD sheet right here.
Nice.
So like it was always a goal.
Okay.
But in college, I was like, I can't just go out of college. I have zero money, zero experience.
Right.
So I can't just like start a gym, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so then I went into the industry to like kind of like learn the ropes, learn how everything works, how things are done, just get like a background in it.
Right.
And then when I was successful at that, I was like, okay, now it's time to actually go do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to go do it and what did that look like?
So that was, definitely the probably scariest jump.
Yeah.
Like anybody that starts their business, it's like when you actually quit your job and make that jump,
right?
That's like the scariest part, right? And so for me, me and my buddy Mike Schulke, so he was the other head trainer at Fitness Evo, and we were going to start this gym together. We were roommates at the time as well.
Gotcha.
Like one of my best friends ever. The dude's awesome, and he's one of those dudes that like he's not that good at taking risks and like getting outside the comfort zone. And so when it came time to actually do it, he's like, dude, we don't have the money. We don't have like the resources. Like I'm going to stay here and stay comfortable. And then if you go do it and it works, like I'll come join you. Right. And so went to the banks. We checked out a bunch of different like, places to start our gym. Started like doing all the research, and most of the landlords were like, dude, you've never ran a business. Like, you don't have money in your bank account.
Right.
Like, I had this business plan all laid out, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter your experience. They're like, dude, you don't have the numbers to actually like, for us to feel comfortable with you doing this,
to get a bank loan.
Yeah. And so, I couldn't get a bank loan. Went to the bank and they're like, cool, we can give you this credit card because your credit's good. We can give you this credit card that you can put $20,000 on and you don't have to pay interest on it for a year.
Frick, that's awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I was like, this is better than like a $15,000 loan. Right
totally.
Here. Yeah. And so I was like, sweet, give me that credit card.
Yeah. And
then I found just a basically a storage unit, which we're still in. We just have like 5 of them now.
Yeah.
I found a storage unit for $250 a month.
Nice.
To like start my gym out of. And
that's
so,
sick.
Yeah, when I I remember like signing the lease, opening the freaking storage unit door, and I was like, we don't even have a bathroom in here.
Yeah.
And so then like I got all the equipment in there. Like we had to like,
how much equipment then did you buy this first phase?
Not much. We had like 1 squat rack.
Yeah.
We had like 3 or 4 bars, and then we had a bunch of kettlebells, and then I think I bought like $2,000 worth of dumbbells.
Yeah.
Some medicine balls, like just some stuff where I could do one-on-one training with people.
Gotcha.
And so like I did that, and then of course I'd like did everything you shouldn't do. So I started like soliciting. I sent out a mass email to like 2,000 people. I was like, hey guys, I'm starting this gym. And
from the email list.
Yeah,
from like, your other job.
From the gym. So it's like, of course I signed a non-compete contract.
Of course.
And I was like, screw it. Like I'm scared. Let's just solicit everybody.
Holy crap.
And then of course they like, some clients like told Fitness Evo.
Yeah.
And then I got banned from the gym, and then I got like cease and desist letters from lawyers, which I totally deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think like, course, oh yeah, did you know about those kinds of things?
Yeah. Actually,
then
I probably did, but I was just like, you know what? Like maybe I'll get 10 clients out of this.
Yeah.
And then
so you're like weighing the pros and cons.
Yeah. Like karma comes full circle, right?
Yeah.
And so I got 0 clients from that email.
Whoa.
And then like I had 2 people come over and start training with me from Fitness Evo, but then I was like banned from the gym right away. I was like, you can't come back in here.
Yeah, definitely.
So it was a great
another learning experience.
Another learning experience.
Yeah.
And then I just started going around to businesses and being like, hey, I'm doing a week of free training. Do you want to come train with me for a week and see if you like it and if you want to continue training with me?
Yeah.
And just started hitting the streets and going throughout the mall and like every business.
You were doing door-to-door.
I was doing door-to-door sales, dude. Yeah.
Frick yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I didn't know any marketing at the time.
Yeah.
Like,
and you were getting some clients from that.
Yeah. So people would be like, okay, this guy's in shape. He's got a great physique.
Right.
He obviously knows kind of what he's doing.
Right.
So let's just go check it out.
Yep.
And then people would roll up to the storage unit and be like, where am I?
Yeah,
like, what is this place?
Yeah.
But
and this was how long ago?
This was almost 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many people were you training month 1?
So month 1, I built up to like 10 people.
Oh,
so like from 0 to 10.
Then.
Yeah. And then like month 2, I think I had built up like
another. And were you doing some of these people like for free?
Yeah, totally.
And then
I'd give them a week for free. And then I'd be like, hey, this is how training works.
Yeah.
And when I started off, it'd be like $30 per personal training session, right?
Okay.
Because I'd be like, I don't have the confidence right now to like sell people into like $70, like $80 per sessions. I'm training out of like this tiny little piece of shit gym.
Yeah.
So like I would like people got like amazing deals when they would start.
Yeah.
And so that's like how I built up. And then pretty soon I was like, yeah, every month just kind of kept growing.
Right.
And then I started like my first little boot camp, and it was just like, I remember my first boot camp. It was my parents and like 2 of their friends.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like expecting like 20 people.
Right.
And it was like, my parents and 2 people.
Yeah.
And I was like, awesome. This is our first group training session right here.
Nice. And that was in the first year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Within a couple months of opening?
That was at the probably within 6 months right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about the second time you did one, and third and fourth?
You mean like years or
boot camp? No.
Oh, okay.
Like
so like the boot camp kind of
time.
just was like ongoing. So I'd be like, this is how much it is per month. We just go as long as you want to go for. And we'd, be doing measurements, tracking results, tracking stats, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then it did start growing. People would refer their friends. They'd come over and train with us.
Right.
And then at that time that's when I was like, okay, cool. We need a bigger place. So I got another bay. We knocked down the walls. We had I think about 1,000 feet of space instead of 500 feet of space.
Yeah.
And then bought more equipment and just kept reinvesting into the biz.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was there a moment in the first year where something you just looked at it and you were like, frick, this is working?
I think it was when, it was when Mike decided to come over and train. And so I was like, Mike came over, he checked out the gym. He saw, I was like, dude, we're up to $7,000 a month right now. This is super cool. If you come over here, you're going to be making more money than you're making at Fitness Evo. You get to have your own schedule. You get to have your own clients. Yeah. And so then he quit his job and started his own business. So we were running 2 separate businesses out of what was then called Body Lab Athletics.
Gotcha.
Because we signed a contract where we couldn't form a business together for 2 years.
Gotcha.
And so we did honor that, where he would just train his clients, I'd train my clients.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was probably the point where I was like, this is working.
Yeah.
This dude's coming over, and then I had a third trainer quit his job and come over
nice.
and start training out of the facility too.
Yeah.
And that's about the point where I started researching mentors and researching marketing advice and YouTubing, how to market, how to run a personal training gym, how to, just everything.
Right. Dang, dude.
Yeah.
What things did you, in hindsight, do you wish you would have known that first year?
Dude, so just...
For sure not soliciting...
Yeah, for
people.
sure. Just not breaking the law.
Yeah. That's one solid thing to
learn. But totally, that keeping, I guess, not selling yourself too short, because when you're scared when you're starting a business, you're going to underprice. Most people are going to underprice what they do, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, actually, I take that back, because I feel like I did need to train people for free in order to get some
100%.
very loyal customers and clientele and spread the word. And it's if you give them value, other people are going to come and it's going to build. So I take that back about training people for free and everything. But I guess the big one is, how to even just set up a Facebook page and get your social media stuff out there, and how to reach more people, how to start an email list and send out, content to people.
Yeah.
So all the technical stuff and all the marketing stuff was completely brand new. And that's where going from a technician to a business owner is the huge information gap is as far as what you need to know to be successful.
Yeah. Dude, is it a big thing in the fitness industry where trainers and stuff get all pissed if somebody preaches do free training in the photography, design, and arts world?
Yeah.
like it's such a sore subject when people are like, just do some work for free for some companies.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're devaluing us as people and we're worth getting paid.
Totally.
Working wages.
Totally. And so
is the fitness world that way? Or are they more understanding of like, if you do free work, it will lead to money down the road.
It's going to lead to awesome opportunities. Right. And so I don't think I think depending on who your mentors is and who you listen to in the fitness industry. So like my first mentor that I hired, Bedros Koulian, he taught me so much about providing people value first and then asking for money and asking them to be your client like second, you know? And so we would do 21-day free offers. We would do, you know, like 14-day free trials and all of that stuff and just be like, hey, this is what we do. If you like it, you can totally stay and come train with us.
Dude, there's so many benefits to this too. Because if you don't like the person either, there's a time there where it's like, you can be dude, like, this isn't actually really going to be a good fit for us.
It isn't. And like,
even if they're like, okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna, you can sit down with them after the 14 trial days and just be like, it's really not a good fit. In fact, 100%. What might be better for you is doing these things. And then you don't instantly bind someone in a paid contract, essentially, to only find out 14 days later that they're a horrible client.
And I didn't realize, you know, about like who your avatar is and who do you want to have come train with you and who do you want in your business, like representing that business, probably until about like 2 years into running my business. Because at the start I was like so scared of just being able to like pay off, you know, my bills, pay off equipment. I was like, I'll take anybody. Like, if you want to come train, we will take you no matter like how much of like a pain in the ass you are, how much, how much like customer service you require. You can text me at any hour of the day and I'll get back to you. But now it's not like that. Now it's like we have, you know, very specific people that fit really well into our community. And it's not, when somebody doesn't fit in the community, I'm not like trying or begging them to stay. It's like, cool. Yeah. Like you want to do bodybuilding, you should go to like KO Fitness and train and get coached by like the experts in bodybuilding. And so now like I actually love referring people to different facilities based on like what their goals are.
Dude, that's like exactly like where I'm at now too. Like it started out, I was like getting phone calls. Hey, do you take portraits of dogs? And it's like, yeah, of course.
I'll take photos of dogs. Anything.
Totally do that. And it's like $100? Sure, of course.
And
it's just like anything and everything at any time. And now it's at the point where like literally I just got an email yesterday and it's like super cool, but I'm just like, it's just not really what we do. So it's like, we're not going to have fun doing it. And it's just going to be a hassle and it won't make us
It's going to take away from the time that you could be spending on other stuff.
On stuff that we're actually really good at and wanting to get better and progress in. So then I'm just like, maybe hit this person up or this person because they might actually be way better. And they actually might be excited about a project like that.
And then that person's going to be like, damn, man, Josh is like awesome. He referred me to this amazing photographer that's going to take sweet pictures of my dogs for me. And but like same thing for me. It's like if I took that person on for bodybuilding, I'm not going to provide because I don't like doing bodybuilding shows. Like I'm not like passionate about that side of fitness. And so if I can like pass them off to somebody that does, they're going to be so thankful for that they're going to be like, dude, Jake's an awesome dude. Like if he just cared about like money and just like, you know, trying to make money off me, he would say yes to everything. But like,
and then the same idea of what you're saying with the karma with soliciting, the same thing happens if you take a client that you know really doesn't actually fit in with who you are and what your company actually offers. Because say you refer somebody to somebody else bodybuilding. Well, who's to say in 5 years they won't be into bodybuilding anymore? And they see like what you're doing and they want that. And obviously they're going to be like, dude, he's like spot on what he actually does to the point where he didn't even take me on as a client, which he could have, and sent me to someone he thought was better in that field. So of course, full circle karma. They'll come back around. Or they might have friends that want to work out, but he'd be like, well, you don't want to be a bodybuilder. You should hit up this guy, Jake, and train at his gym.
And that's like, that's totally happened before. Which is rad.
Always happens. Just doing the right thing doesn't pay off in the immediate, but it pays off so much more in long term.
It does.
And so many people like don't get that.
That's what, like, we used to do like gym contracts, right? Where it was like, hey,
Yeah.
you have to sign, you have to commit to 6 months, you have to commit to 12 months. But
Yeah.
like now, like I stopped doing that 2 years ago because I was like, hey, if we're providing people with a service they love and
Yes.
that they like, you know, really value, and we're doing our job, like
Yep.
these people are going to want to stay and train with us for the long term.
Exactly.
And if we're not doing that, they should be able to be free to go somewhere else to train and get
Yep.
the value that they want or the service that they want.
Exactly.
And it's crazy because when we went away from contracts, our retention has gone up so
Yes,
much.
of course.
Like so much.
It puts more pressure on you, and it's literally just saying like, we trust that we do good work
Yep.
and we trust you.
Yep.
As opposed to, hey, I just met you. Nice to meet you. Sign this contract
Yeah.
that legally binds you to staying here
For sure.
and paying us money. Whether or not we actually do a great job or not
Yeah.
is what that sounds like.
It is. Because it lets
and
you
then
off
it's
the
like,
hook.
yeah,
too.
totally can let you off the hook, even though like technically they could get out of it. But it's just a
Yep.
weird way to start a
is.
relationship.
And it's like when I was in the gym business at the start, it was like everybody does contracts, right? So I
course.
thought that was the way that like it needed to be.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, these people are just going to leave me. But it's like, they're only going to leave you if you're not doing what you promised to do.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
at that point, it's like, then let them leave.
Yeah.
Like, and then you need to change what you're
And then
doing to keep people.
Yeah. And then you're going to keep your avatar, the people that love it, that you love to train, that fit your community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's
feels like
awesome.
they're signed a contract making them stay there.
Yeah.
That's way cooler.
It's rad.
Dude, there's like in lots of industries, like if you take a job somewhere, they make you sign like you have to work here and you can't go work at competitors and blah, blah, blah.
For sure.
But like Pixar, I think, I could totally be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure it was like Pixar was one of the few like big studios that like they didn't have contracts.
Dude.
They're like, if we're not going to make somebody stay here if they want to go work somewhere else
Yeah,
because
they're
it's
free to do
better,
that.
they should go do that. If they hate their job here, they're not going to be performing and doing the best.
Totally.
But it's like nobody was leaving because they were working on the coolest stuff.
Yeah.
There wasn't anybody
They're
else
like-
doing cooler things.
They're working on their passion projects. And
Right.
Yeah, they love it.
And you know that the people can leave if they want to,
Yep.
which will only be beneficial for the community and the group of people working there. Because
Totally.
you don't want somebody that's showing up to work that just freaking hates it and wishes they worked at this other studio.
Yeah, they're not going to be doing like
No,
the
that's
best
like
job. They're not-
cancer.
Yeah.
That
It's gonna
literally
affect
just starts
everybody else.
affecting everyone else on the team, and it just starts draining. And the idea totally makes sense. It's like a company invests a ton of money in these people.
Yep.
So if they leave and then give all of that knowledge that they just learned to a competitor, totally get that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, it's not worth making them stay if they don't
It's-
want to stay.
It's not.
No.
It's totally not.
And that's like with employees and clients and all of that.
Yeah.
Just makes way more sense.
Yeah. We would have to deal with, you know, the whole customer service side of things of like trying
Right.
to, you know, negotiate getting out of contracts. And
Right.
like, I hate that because
Right.
no matter what, that person's not going to be happy with you. And they're
Yeah,
gonna
what's the
tell-
point at
yeah,
that point? It's
they're
like,
gonna
cool,
tell
so you're going
everybody
to
else.
make them pay
Yeah.
you and stay and keep coming to the gym,
Yep.
and now they don't even like you?
Yeah,
That
they're just
doesn't
gonna
make any
badmouth
sense
you.
either.
Yeah.
I don't know what people
So,
think of
yeah,
when they
I've
have
been
these
totally
contracts.
Over that for a long time.
Yeah,
It's
that's
rad.
awesome.
Yeah.
And that's probably pretty rare
It is.
for gyms.
Most, dude, I don't know how many gyms in Bellingham don't do contracts, but it's probably like maybe us and like one other person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Just makes way more sense.
Yeah, it does.
Because ultimately, like, the client can get out of that contract.
Yep.
What are you going to
They're
go to?
gonna- no,
are
they're-
you going to go to court for one
Are you
of
gonna
your
send
clients?
collections? Are you going to do all
And
that
then if you
BS?
do
No.
that, are you really going to win? The client
No one's
can
gonna win.
probably, yeah, it's just not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And it's not, it is that really the best use of your time?
Yeah, no.
Absolutely
No.
not. That is the worst use of your time you could
For sure.
possibly do. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, dang, dude. So you freaking start a gym off a credit card.
Boom.
You start
Living
door
in the
to
parents-
door.
Living in the parents' basement.
Oh, okay, so you move back in with
Yeah.
the parents.
Yep.
And you're doing door to door basically.
Doing door to door.
How long was that going on until you
So,
stopped doing that?
That went on for about 6 months, and then I was YouTubing, you know, searching personal trainer marketing,
Yes.
and then I found this dude named Bedros Koulian.
Yeah.
He's talking about, hey, you need to provide value for people, give them some ebooks, give them some like workouts that they can download, give them nutrition advice, and they're going to give you their email. And then you can start like marketing, promotions and stuff that you're doing at the gym, showing testimonials of clients. And then you're going to be building trust with them. And eventually those people are going to be like, cool, Jake looks like a good guy. His program looks awesome. Awesome. I'm going to take him up on, his $21 for 21-day offer, and they're going to come try you out. So he was basically like, cool, you need to provide them value. Then you have to build their trust, and then they're going to come try your service. And I was like, man, that makes sense. Let's download MailChimp here and like, let's make some content. Let's put it on Facebook, offer it for free as long as they give me their email address. And then I can, kind of start doing some email marketing. And so that's where, my mind started like going like, oh, this is going to be like, if I can build my email list and start connecting with more people, then this is going to be a stream of clients that I don't have to go out and find every day and do the footwork with, Because if you're a small business, at the end of the day, there's so many hours in a day. You're only going to be able to like go, like as your schedule fills up, you're only going to be able to, spend half an hour going door to door. Right. And so it's like, cool. That was kind of the start for me as far as learning a little bit of the technology side for marketing. And how, I guess, like collecting emails and collecting, or basically providing people with value in return for their email address, and then, continually building that trust factor with them. And then from there, I ended up going to his fitness business summit, which was in California. And I actually took my mom with me because I was like, hey mom, like I have a feeling I'm going to make a really big decision at this, this conference right here. It was like a 3-day thing where they have all these speakers, going over marketing, sales, retention, services, how to provide better services for your clients, how to scale your business. And so me and my mom sat there for 3 days, and then he presented his like mastermind program, which was like a $20,000 a year program where you get to basically do coaching with him. You meet up for 3 masterminds a year with other gym owners that are doing the same thing you're doing. And my mom was like, you need to do this right now. And I was like, you want me to put $20,000 down right now? That like is all I have in my bank account after working my ass off for a year and joining this program. She's like, yeah, you have to do it. I was like, okay. And so that was like my first mentor I signed up for right there. And then after I signed up with him, it's kind of like that, like burn your boats and take the island mentality where it's like, dude, I just like invested, the down payment of a house to like learn more about business and how to reach more people and how to grow this thing. And so there was like no room for failure, right? It's like, I'm all in at this point. And so basically like I would do all the coaching with him. I'd get on my coaching calls. I'd attend all of his webinars. I would go meet up 3 times a year, like in California with different gym owners. And that's where I learned the social media, the marketing side, how to build out, different websites and how to like put promotions out there on social media and reach more people.
Are you still doing that with him?
No, I'm not. So I did.
Was it super worth it in hindsight?
Dude,
we're like, maybe
it was super worth it. I mean, we tripled our gym in a year and a half.
Okay.
So like it totally paid off. For other people that didn't put like the work in, I mean, he would give you the ideas and stuff, but you have to implement.
You have to actually do
like,
it.
You have, just like anything,
100%.
You have to do the work and like actually learn and, put it to the test. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Dang.
But it totally paid off. And that's where I was like, it kind of reminded me of like, back to like my coaching days in sports where I always perform better if I have somebody that's coaching me and holding me accountable with stuff. And so it's just like when I ask somebody to join our program and hire a coach for their health, it's like, hey, I have coaches in business. I have coaches, right now I hired my coach for my triathlon that I'm training for because he knows a lot more than me. If I want to get there faster, like I'm going to take the advice from an expert. So that was kind of like my first big, business like mentor right there that I hired. Which was cool.
Dude. And that's a great segue into that I hired you as my personal trainer. Which is something I've never worked out of the gym ever. Like I played sports and stuff in middle school and high school. So I was just always in shape.
Totally.
And then after that, I kind of was still just active with like wakeboarding, some snowboarding. Snowboarding was something I did as a kid a lot. And then once I got older, it was just like, I don't have money to
for sure.
spend to get tickets and like go.
when you hit me up on Facebook, I was like, cool, who's this dude? And then I looked at your profile and watched some of your videos, and I'm like, this guy seems freaking awesome. Like, I hope he comes to the gym and actually meets me, doesn't flake out, because like, I want to train this guy. He seems super driven. He's an
my
entrepreneur.
freaking email or my Facebook message to you is like, what? I want somebody that like is like a scientist.
And you're like, takes a very holistic approach and does, like takes my needs in consideration and all that stuff. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. I mean, you knew exactly what you wanted,
right?
Like with training, which is super rad. But then for me, it's like when I have an entrepreneur that, basically is interested in my service, I love training entrepreneurs because they're the most driven people out there. And I know that they're going to do what I tell them to do like to the T.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. So like, if you look at our client base of people that own their own businesses, people that have high level jobs, like those are the people that usually succeed the fastest and get to where they want to be the fastest.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense though.
It does. It's like, I mean, dude, when I give you a nutrition plan and you're like on vacation in Hawaii and stuff, and you're like, you come back with like a 6-pack, and I'm like, this dude just like follows the nutrition to a T. It's awesome.
Yeah. And it also though I've never paid somebody like to train me or any coaches or anything really. I'm very much so a like, just figure it out and do it yourself.
That's awesome.
But there was just something, I was just getting less and less active.
Yeah.
And then we've had 2 kids and then years of that. And then starting my company, I became less and less active because I was spending more and more time on the business. And then it got to the point where I'm like, dude, I don't even have the energy to like play with my kids really to the level that I want to be able to.
Yeah.
And I was the most out of shape. I wasn't like way out of shape. I was like, almost 19% body fat, which is not, that's pretty normal probably.
I'd say your body, like your physique wasn't that out of shape.
Right.
But like, do you remember our first
training dude, I couldn't even friggin' do 5 burpees.
Yeah.
I couldn't do...
But that's the thing is you had the muscle memory and the body memory to like get back into it super fast.
Right.
Because you grew up in that sport environment.
Right.
And you've always been an active athletic
that was
person.
Weird though, dude. Going to the gym the first time and like those, because previous in my life, I could just go do anything. Yeah. It's like people are doing active things like, oh yeah, random push-up challenge. And it's just like, of course I could just bust out a whole bunch of push-ups.
Totally.
To go to the gym. And I knew I was out of shape. That's why I was seeking this out. Yeah. And something in me was just like, I just want to go 100% and I want to do the gym way of doing it. Like lifting weights to build muscle throughout all of my body.
Totally. And you're like, I really want to build balance in all my areas. Yeah.
I love all of that. And it's just going to go way faster if somebody shows me. Plus like literally not knowing how to do the things and not wanting to go into a class with 10 other people.
Yeah.
And just be like, am I doing this right? Am I not doing this right?
For sure.
And so, like, dude, that first day, the first week, the first month was just like embarrassing, dude. I was just like, I cannot believe how far I've let myself go to not be able to do these things.
And I always like love watching people get frustrated at kind of where they're at, right? Because you're like, I'm used, like, I know my body's capable of doing this stuff.
Right.
But I've just let it get to that point where I can't do this stuff anymore. But then seeing how that person responds to like fighting back and how they basically react to that stress of like, pushing through the pain and keep going with it.
Right.
And how they react to failure where, it's with you would always get back up. You'd always do one more rep. You'd be like, no, I'm going to stay after an extra 20 to 30 minutes to get this workout done. Because you're a very driven person and like you just aren't going to quit. And so I've had other people that come in and they just can't wait for like training to be over.
Right.
And it's like, you're that type of person that's going to go the extra step to get it done, which is awesome. And I could just tell how driven you were like the very first day we were training. And I was like, dude, this guy's going to like slay. He's going to slay.
Yeah.
And you totally have.
Heck yeah.
Because how long did it take? It took like 6 weeks or like 6 to 8 weeks for you to do your first Spartan race?
Was it? Yeah. Yeah. It was
like right in there.
Maybe 6 weeks or something.
Yes. You like, you went from like barely being able to run a mile, right? to just like crushing the Spartan race
Yeah.
in a very short time frame.
Dude, I wish the Spartan race was like now.
Yeah.
I'm way more interested to see what I would have performed like now than at that point. But yeah, that was cool too. And that's what's been like having, it's interesting because I never correlated, like you can just pay for a mentor essentially. Like you are a mentor to me in lots of ways because you are also not just like a trainer, like you're friggin' training for an Ironman.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
It's going to be insane.
And before that, it wasn't like you weren't doing stuff. Like you are living out what you preach to the way extreme.
Yeah.
Like no one is really working harder than you.
Yeah.
And so nobody can be like, oh, there's just no freaking excuses. Like when I show up, like
you can't
I'm
be
not
like,
going to nod because I'm like, oh, it was kind of busy.
no, for sure.
And it's like, oh yeah, Jake woke up at freaking 4 this morning. So I can't really say I was busy.
Yeah.
Like, and I've always hated the like, oh, I was busy. It's not being busy. It's just priority.
It totally is. It's
like
what is most important to you in your life and how are you going to structure your day to like accomplish those priorities.
Right. But it's also just so freaking motivating to have a trainer who is also doing either the same-ish workouts or very similar, and you know he's doing it harder than you are.
Yeah. Dude, thanks,
so
man.
Like,
but yeah, and that's literally like my big thing is when, you know, I train people, like one of my biggest pet peeves is are trainers who don't live that lifestyle and then they preach to other people about how they should be living their life or how they should be doing their workouts or training or nutrition.
Right.
And so for me, like I want to be like a living, walking proof. You know, I want my body, my fitness level to reflect how I want my like clients to be performing.
Right.
And like basically like I'm doing all these crazy things because if I have somebody that like comes to the gym and they're like, hey, I want to do this. Like I want to be like, hey, I've done that.
Yep.
This is how you need to train. This is what you can expect to accomplish these things.
Right.
And so like, yeah, there's a selfish side of me that wants to do it just for myself. But like in the end, like I want to train high level people that also want to accomplish things that a normal person would not want to accomplish, you know, or like doesn't even think about doing.
Right.
And so for this Ironman, for me, it's like, it's going to take my skills, my knowledge of nutrition, training, everything to that next level.
Yeah.
As far as, you know, just learning more about it and how to like get the body to do that.
Right. But we should take a moment to explain, like, how tall are you? How much do you weigh?
Cool. So some of my like stats. So I'm 5'9", and a half, baby. Give me that half inch.
Give that
Give me that half inch. It matters. 5'9" and a half. Right now I'm weighing like 196. Already down from about 200 pounds. So like kind of the last few years I've stayed around 196 to 200. It's kind of my background as far as training goes is when I started my gym, I was like pretty into like more bodybuilding style training. Right. I did like one bodybuilding show, is super cool experience. And I had like a coach for that. And that's where I learned about macronutrition and some of the more advanced nutrition strategies. And then from there, I just naturally like progressed strength wise. And I basically beat two Washington State records for like powerlifting. So I got the deadlift record of 601 pounds weighing in at 181 pounds, which has now been broken.
How much did you lift?
I deadlifted 601.
601, and you weighed 100.
I was in the 181 weight class.
Dang.
Yeah. So I cut like 15 pounds to be able to do that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like lots of dehydration techniques.
Oh my gosh.
And like fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I also beat like the total record, which was bench, squat, and deadlift combined. And then I was like, wow, that was awesome. Like if you would have told me I would do that in high school, I'd be like, there's no way.
Yeah.
You know? Because I was like pretty small in high school. I was a cross country runner, basketball player. Like I didn't really lift weights.
Yeah.
And so like that was something that was really cool. And then from there, kept kind of bodybuilding, powerlifting. And then I did my first Spartan race. And I was like, damn, that just crushed me. Like that race crushed me. I have zero endurance right now. I'm this big dude, but I don't have like a lot of, what is it? Just like functional type strength or like
you can lift
movement.
Heavy crap, but
yeah, I can lift really big things. I look good.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not that functional with it, you know? So that kind of led me into where I'm training now is I want to keep my strength, keep like my power, keep my physique, but then also be able to go very far distances and do things that a person my size, physique, and like weight is normally not doing.
Right.
It's just kind of breaking like limiting beliefs of like what the human body is capable of.
Which is another reason like I hit you up to train me, because I don't want to like be as big as you.
Yeah.
I don't know if people understand that if you're 5'9.5" and weigh 200 pounds, and what's your body fat percentage?
It's probably right around 9 to 10%.
Right.
Yeah.
Like low, like abs. Like this is muscle. This is
we try to stay jacked
fat.
year round.
Right.
Gosh. Yeah.
Yes. And so when you look at you, nobody's thinking like, yeah, this dude's going to do an Ironman.
Totally. It's
because that doesn't make sense.
like
your body's not built for that.
Yeah.
They think, oh, cool, he can lift heavy stuff.
Yeah. People will see me at like local races and stuff and be like, oh, this dude's running probably like this 3-mile race or like this half marathon or marathon. And like people will come up to me after the race and they'll be like, dude, how do you like run so fast?
Right.
I'm like, because now I've been training running for like the last like 2.5 years, almost every single day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I like to try to defy, what people think is possible as far as training and like performance goes.
Right.
And just keep pushing those limits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, the Ironman, this will be like my biggest race yet, and that's going to be. So if you don't know what an Ironman is, it's a 2.5 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and then a marathon, and those are back to back to back.
Right.
And like right now, the swim is like I've never done a swim team. I suck at swimming, and so like I hired a triathlon
Dude, that's been
coach
fun watching you, because
Yeah.
everything else you're so experienced in.
Yeah.
So it's just like, but watching you hire a coach, and because you share your journey on
totally.
Instagram, and so it's like the first time, I haven't known you that long, but like seeing you being like nervous about like going to do your swims and stuff,
For sure.
which is like probably what most of the clients you have and whatnot
is.
feel like when they're going into the gym, which you are so naturally, because you've done it for so long. That's
For sure.
just your wheelhouse. You know that.
Yeah.
But to see you hire a trainer and be going
Be like,
to the
crap,
pool,
I have to go meet him at the pool today. I don't know
And
what
you're
I'm
like-
doing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And I love
super
doing those experiences that get me outside of my comfort zone in different aspects of fitness, because then I get to experience again what every single new person to our gym is coming in experiencing, and then I can relate to them, right?
100%.
And it's like, hey, I know you're coming in here. You're super scared. You're super intimidated. But like, here's some stories and what I'm doing right now where I feel the exact same way as you do right now.
Right.
And it's like,
yes.
at the end of the day, it's like, I want to make people who come to our gym and try it out feel as comfortable as possible and not intimidated, and not like, they're not going to fit in with people that have been training with us for a long time, because we all have that starting point of like getting into it, and we're all going to suck at first.
Yeah. That's what is actually embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like going to the gym with no knowledge of ever lifting something, and you're weak as heck. That's why you're going there. To be surrounded by people who are just like Greek gods who've been lifting for 5-10 years, and you can't even do 5 burpees.
For sure.
Like that's just a humbling and like not fun experience.
Yep.
So to get people to commit to that, that's difficult.
Yeah.
Like that's not an easy thing to be like, hey, come and like look like an idiot for an hour.
Come feel like you're the most out of shape person in the class for an hour.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, when somebody comes to the gym and, I can tell that they're already like thinking that way or feeling that way.
Yeah.
You've seen our wall of like transformations that we have up there. And, usually people are feeling that way and they're like, oh, nobody in this class or like this training session is going to understand where like I'm starting. Right. And it's like, hey, like all these people that are training with us though, they started exactly like where you're sitting down today in that chair right next to me, feeling scared about working out, feeling self-conscious about their body.
Yeah.
Feeling like they don't belong here. And these are all the people up on our wall of transformations. And like, there's Justin down there who lost 100 pounds with us, and now he's doing Spartan races. But like, he's going to see you in class, and he's going to know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
He's going to high five you. He's going to motivate you, tell you about his story.
Yeah.
And like, that's what I wanted to build with like Lab Athletics, was that community of people that like lift each other up and like support each other on their goals and their journey. Yeah.
Dude, which has been awesome to see. I just do one-on-one training with you, so I'm not like in any of the groups, but the groups are happening a lot of the time.
Yeah, you get to see all the workouts go down.
The culture that you guys have created, it's such a family there, which is not easy to do. Like that shows like who you are and your team. And like, do people come up to me all the time?
Yeah.
As a dude who is never a part of their classes, they'll come out of their way to introduce themselves, say, hey man.
Definitely.
They'll be like, yo, I saw that, like the transformation photo of me. And they're just like, that's amazing. And then they tell me their story and they're just like so excited and like uplifting about everything. Like everyone there is like just pumped to be there, to support each other. And there's just a range of people.
Massive like range of different bodies, different ages, cultures, nationalities. And I love that.
Yeah, it's like, sick. The culture you guys have got, and I don't know if this is new, how the culture is right now, but it seems to be like in a pretty freaking good spot.
The thing about the gym and workouts and everything is that, you know, I feel like the gym is something where, at least our gym, maybe not like, you know, your typical gym,
right?
But I want it to be a place where it doesn't matter like what your job is, what your social status is, where you come from, who your friends are on the outside. But like when you come to the gym, like everybody's helping each other try to reach their goals,
right?
You know, so it's kind of that like team mentality when it comes to training at our facility.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know, the one thing about the gym, which is awesome, is everybody's on an even playing field, right?
Right.
So like money can't buy that perfect body. Like money can't buy health. Like no matter what, no matter how good of a trainer you have, how motivating of a trainer you have, you still have to put in the work to achieve those goals, right? Like I can't lift the weights for you. I can't make your meals, except we will have done for you meals soon. But but like
and sometimes you do help lift the weights for me.
Okay, like maybe once in a while. But like everybody's on an equal playing field, right? And so in order to like reach that level of fitness, each person has to put in the same amount of work to get there, which is what I love about it.
Yeah.
And so it's like that equal playing field, but we try to make that community as supportive as possible to like reach those goals.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Dude, so let's talk through like the purpose of why you do this.
Dude, totally.
Why does it motivate? Why the heck are you waking up so early in the morning and staying at the gym so late? Like, why are you living your life this way?
Man, I mean, when I started personal training, I saw right away how impactful it is on people's lives, right?
Right.
And I feel like fitness changed my life. Like if I didn't have fitness, I didn't have sports growing up, I'd probably be doing a bunch of drugs right now. I'd probably be addicted to a ton of bad things in my life. So it's helped me stay on the straight and narrow, and it's helped me build relationships. It's helped my dad get sober. Like he trains at our gym 6 days a week or 5 to 6 days a week. It's helped my mom lose 60 pounds. It's helped her basically like get her happiness back, her life back, and enjoy you know, things like she didn't used to be able to do Spartan races. She didn't used to be able to do like, you know, 5Ks. And now she's 60 years old and she's doing pulps for the first time. And she's like so stoked on life, you know? So it's like, I feel like our gym has basically saved my whole family.
Right.
Because my dad got sober and then he replaced alcohol with working out.
Right.
And it's like, we have so many people that used to have addictions at our gym that now their addiction is now getting healthy and putting, you know, basically that stress and anything in their life that is like, you know, on their mind. The gym is like a place to release that. And so like every day when I get texts from people telling me like, hey, this is like, I don't know what I'd be doing right now if I didn't go to your gym. And just like literally seeing people come in and having the best hour of their day at our gym and knowing that we're making an impact in all other areas of their life. Like that's why I love it. And my thing is, you know, like there's so many people that need help with health and fitness right now. And there's so many, like, this is, you know, one of the most unhealthy our country's ever been, like the world's ever been. And I've never seen anybody train and say, man, I wish I wouldn't have done that.
Right.
You know, I wish I would have not made that decision to get healthy, to get in shape.
Right.
I've never once had somebody say like that was a bad decision.
Right.
So I believe that like everybody's going to have, you know, better mental mindset. They're going to be happier.
Yep.
And my big thing is, you know, basically like I want to be able to take people and have them gain control back of their health, their happiness, and their fitness.
Right.
And so that's kind of like my mission statement that I've come up with lately.
Nice.
Is like giving people the control to take back their health, happiness, and fitness. Yeah. Because that's basically what like I feel our community does.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's why I wake up at 4 a.m. every day, because I know I'm changing people's lives.
Yeah.
It makes me super happy. I get fulfilled with it. And like, there's nothing else I'd basically rather be doing. And
right.
it also allows me to like live the lifestyle that I want and keep pushing my limits every day.
Right. Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah.
So good. And that's another thing, like the family feel really feels like family feel, because like your parents are there.
Dude, totally.
A lot of times it's like the whole family is there.
Yeah.
And then like they're so cool too.
Dude.
Like your dad's always just so happy and just like, hey, and he's like talks to everybody and like
totally
is always encouraging everybody, and it's like, oh, this is just like the family get together.
Yeah. And I've even had my dad like run some sessions for us.
Nice.
And so he's, and like people like, my dad like gets people going.
Yeah.
Like if people are low energy, he's like, what are you guys doing? Like, let's get like stoned. He just starts yelling at people and it's just awesome. And then my mom inspires people because she's had both her hips replaced. She's had a knee replacement, but she's like misses no excuses.
Right.
Like, I will do this. I'm going to modify stuff.
Yep.
But like, she works her ass off all day long. And of course we try to make sure she's being safe with everything.
Right.
But like, she's like a great example of somebody that doesn't let her circumstances like dictate where her health and fitness are at, because it'd be so easy for her to give up, get on a bunch of pain pills and be like, dude, my body's shot. I have no hope left.
Yeah.
I'm just going to like, you know, like let my life go whatever direction it wants to go.
Yeah.
But she takes control of stuff and just makes the best of what she has, you know, with her body right now.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. But the funny thing about my parents too is, so when I first started the gym, like my dad had never worked out in the gym before. He's like, I don't lift weights.
Right.
He's like, I don't do this stuff.
Yeah.
And then mom was like, I've never lift weights before. So it took me like probably a good 6 months to get them into it and get them like where they actually love to do it.
Right.
And now they're like hooked and they're like, we can't miss workouts, or like we get really grumpy. And like,
dude. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's like, I've enjoyed working out at the gym, which is something I never did that because I was like, well, that doesn't sound fun at all. I want to go out and do something.
Totally.
But whatever this was in my life right now, where it just kind of like clicked and I was like, I just want to go all in on this and do it. And then it's just also been fun, especially like the progression of like getting heavier lifts and like all of that too.
Dude,
and
totally.
Like, the whole process, I'm like, this is sweet. I like this a lot.
Yeah. And I think like, I was talking to a new person today that signed up for one of our challenges, and we're sitting down, you know, going through a consultation. She's like, I just feel like right now in my life, I'm making no progress anywhere. And I'm just like going through the day-to-day stuff, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, you know, girl, like when you see progress in the gym, like that's what's going to bring you fulfillment. Like, like progress in our lives in all areas is what is going to bring fulfillment and make us happy and create like that happiness that we want. And 100%. So when people come to the gym and they see themselves breaking through limits and making progress, it opens up doors for them to do that in all other areas.
Yes, dude. Yeah. So signing up with you, training, and then freaking winning. Yeah. Just crushing and winning week after week, like progress photos actually looking different from week to week to week to week. It was, and like to the point of like kind of seeing like a 6-pack come through.
Yeah. Oh,
was
dude, you got
in
it.
A short amount of time. I didn't realize the ramifications of like winning at something that I have no experience in. And like, and in such a short amount of time, how much like trying something completely new and winning at it. Not that I was like not winning at other things, but everything else in my life was kind of had been the same. Yeah. And so to do something I had never done before in my life and then like feel like I was winning so much at it gives you so much confidence in all the other things. You're like, oh dude, if I can win at this, then this and this and that. Yeah. And it's just like a huge motivation in everything.
Dude, and that's like such a good point. Like, that's what the gym originally did for me, was like it gave me confidence in my body, gave me confidence in my abilities, and then that overflowed into anything else that I wanted to like, you know, pursue or like achieve, you know? Yeah. And so it's like, if I wasn't fit, if fitness didn't come before me wanting to become a firefighter, I probably wouldn't have had confidence to like be like, dude, I can go do firefighting. Like I could pull people out of burning buildings. Right. But it like just opens up all these other opportunities in your mind and changes the way you think about stuff.
Totally. Yeah. And I think that would be if we just focused on one thing and would win at that one thing, it would always do that.
Yeah.
But then I think actually like fitness and health are more, because like we're talking about our bodies and our actual well-being. And so being healthy also just makes you feel better. So it's like
the
so
massive
much
picture
about that. That's just like a big deal. Dude, okay, there's so much that we could keep talking about. And I have so many things, but I do want to talk a little bit, like if somebody is listening and they want to get healthy,
totally.
What is your advice? What do you tell people?
Dude, I mean, my big thing is there's so many different programs out there that are going to work. So when people like start Googling nutrition and, you know, weight loss and fitness programs, you're going to have ketosis, you're going to have the paleo diet, you're going to have low carb, you're going to have counting your macros, you're going to have, you know, basically Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, like, I mean, the list is endless, right?
Yeah, dude.
Of opportunities,
like
and
crazy
things
weird
you can do.
shakes.
Yeah,
like
totally.
Not eating at all.
Yeah, like
that's
and
gonna
like
work.
intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much out there, and man, the nutrition is like the biggest black hole that we could talk about and go into.
Right.
But my thing is, you know, like when it comes to nutrition, we want to start with the basics of, okay, let's say me and you go into a grocery store. If I told you, hey Josh, I want you to go pick out, you know, ingredients to make 3 of the healthiest meals that you can make. I'm pretty sure that the majority of people that, you know, as long as you have like a decent education, you grew up in a place that has, you know, grocery stores, the majority of people would be able to go into a grocery store, pick out fresh vegetables, pick out healthy meats. Like the majority of people are not going to go to like processed foods. If you tell them, hey, I want you to design 3 healthy meals that you think would be like bomb. And so I think like just going back to the basics of, you know, where our food comes from and the things we're meant to eat, it's like eating real food and eating, you know, the way that we used to eat is just the basics, right?
Right.
But it's like you could pick ketosis, you could pick paleo, you could pick low carb, but if you just pick one thing and actually stick to it, you're going to succeed.
Right.
So it's like kind of look at your life and figure out, okay, how do I like to eat? You know, like what program do I think is going to work the best? And then just stick to it for a long time. Don't stop. Don't give up. Yeah, that's kind of my big thing is like counting macros is going to work. Ketosis is going to work. Doing a paleo diet is going to work. But you actually just have to stick to it and be dedicated to it, you know?
Dude, the giant billboard quote you have in the gym of the best time to have planted a tree. What is it?
Yesterday, was 10 years ago or something.
10 years ago.
And then
the second best is today.
Yep. It's like the ancient Chinese proverb.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like actually, I think it says 20 years. The best time to have planted a tree was 20 years ago. The second best is today.
Yep.
And it's like the truth of that is so amazing of like, we all should have been doing what was best for us 20 years ago or 5 years ago or a long time ago. But like right now is when you actually need to start doing that. Like eating good.
It's never too late. Right. It's never like, it's not like, oh, I should have done that 20 years ago. I'm just not going to do it anymore.
Exactly. And that the time frame of that, it's like, when should you have planted a tree? Like 20 years ago. That's when you should have planted a tree.
Yeah, that's
like, we're talking a long time, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So guess what? The next best time is literally right now, but you're not going to see the benefits of that for 20 years.
Yep.
So you should have done this 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's
like literally with everything, like with business, with life, with relationships,
100%.
with everything that we're doing. It's like, well, you should have planted the tree 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years, like whatever. A long time ago is when we should be doing those.
We should have
things.
done it sooner.
Yes, we should have done it sooner. And so it's like that quote just is such a good quote.
It's really good. It's really good. But yeah, for somebody that's, you know, thinking about making a change and like, hey, I want to start something. It's like, I would totally go out and, you know, find like, first of all, hiring a trainer and hiring somebody to hold you accountable if your stuff is going to be, you're going to be a lot more successful doing that than if you've tried stuff in the past and you failed on your own over and over and over again. Right.
Yes.
And it's like just finding a person that you click with, because different personalities, different people are not going to be good fits. And so it's like, you need to find somebody that you believe in, that believes in you, that's going to give you an awesome service, and that is going to hold your hand and do the
Yes.
things that need to be done to get to your goals.
Yeah.
And
Dude, there's no way I'd be where I'm at without having paid you to be my personal trainer.
Yeah.
Not like group training, not like trying to do it on my own.
Totally.
I could definitely do this.
Yep.
I'm like a very motivated, I'll figure it out and do it myself. I definitely would not be as far along as I am, nor would I just literally wouldn't know like how much should I push myself.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want to get injured. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do it. But having you be like, yo, you can do this more. You can do a couple more sets. You can do that.
Yeah.
And you're just like catering it to me. So it's like paying, and on top of that, actually just paying you money makes it so when I'm looking at like a cookie or something, I'm like, why the frick would I, after paying all this money this month, why would I like basically ruin it by not eating healthy? And so that's just a huge amount of accountability.
It is.
Like I would encourage someone to even just do it. Like if you don't have the money, because it can get expensive, like save some money just to do it for like a month or two.
Totally.
Just to have that experience of like the accountability of it. Like you're put all this money and effort into something. You're so, I feel like, and for me, for sure, it's like you're so less likely to skip on it, because even like you brought up Hawaii. Well, yeah, when I'm in Hawaii, I'm thinking about all our training, and I'm like, okay, Jake's going to be pissed if I'm not like, I mean, you're not going to be pissed,
so
but
pissed
you'd be like, no, you're not going to be pissed. But I don't want to let you down as a trainer either. So there's just this accountability where it's like, I'm not going to just go on vacation and like blow all this work, because that would waste your time too.
Dude,
like how stupid would that be to be like, oh, hey, sorry, man, just like ate
no, and that's what
like
happens.
Horrible
a lot
crap, and then I didn't train at all. So, and you're like, cool, dude. Like I literally give my time to train with you.
Yep.
And it's, you kind of wasted a lot of that. Not totally. It's obviously still worth it, but that just, to me, the accountability level
lost like
is
4
so
weeks.
much.
You know?
Right.
It's like,
And
you
it's
just
like,
lost
cool.
the 4 weeks that you just put 28 hours of work into.
Right.
And now that's gone.
And it's not just my time. Like that would be wasting your time too. So that just, to me, like has so much more accountability. And I think although not everyone is in a position to pay for these things, they should try, like save money to try to do that, because there's so much that I've been learning through doing that now I'm like wanting to try to pay for other things.
Yeah, like other coaching,
because it will make it happen so much faster.
Yep.
That the ROI on whatever, your happiness, your health, your actual financial ROI, and all of this is like, it could get expedited so quickly that it doesn't actually make sense not to do it that way.
Dude, 100%, man. And that's what I've realized with every mentor that I've hired. I've always got a positive return on that.
Yeah. And what you said though, it's like you might not click with the person. Yeah. So just terminate it as fast as possible.
Yeah,
and find the next person.
It's not like, every trainer is a bad trainer now.
Yes.
It's, you just have to find, totally.
Yeah. You have to find the right one.
Yeah.
Which, dude, when I hit you up on Facebook and you sent me a picture that you were in Alaska catching your own salmon, I was like, all right.
I was like, dude,
definitely
we're hunting and gathering right now.
This guy is definitely who's going to train me.
Yeah, that's totally right. I was in Alaska with my girlfriend fishing. That's awesome.
You're like, hey, man, I'll be back in like a week. I'm just in Alaska, and you like sent me this picture of this salmon that you just caught. And you're like, I'm catching all my fish.
That's so.
And I was like, sick. This is gonna work. We're gonna get along.
How he lives it right now.
Yeah. Sick.
Heck yeah.
Okay, dude. Mark needs to leave. Right, 20 minutes ago. I could talk for another hour.
Yeah.
There's so much more we could talk about, man.
Might have to do part 2.
Maybe we'll do like a part 2 and just go right into like practical.
Yeah.
We didn't get any mindset. We didn't get anything.
Dude, we can get mindset, practical application.
Oh, there's so much more.
It's good though.
Dang.
It's good.
Okay. Well, hopefully there was some. I mean, the biggest thing is what you were just talking about. Like, you just need to pick something and go with it.
Totally.
Like, and right now, like not waiting.
And if you fail, like it's normal to fail in your fitness journey. And like,
yes,
it's normal to follow a diet and then fail and then try it again and then fail again. And like, but just keep trying, because at some point you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And it's going to click and it's going to stick.
Yep.
And I could use multiple examples that I've gone through in my life.
Yeah.
But one recent one is just, trying to get up at 4 a.m. and sticking to that schedule. And it took me 3 years to do it. And now I'm doing it.
Yep.
So like if you fail on nutrition for the last 3 years, just keep trying.
Yeah.
At some point it's going to stick and you're going to actually make it all the way.
Yeah. And for people who think you only get 2 hours of sleep, you don't. You value sleep.
Dude, I totally value sleep. I've been getting 7 to 8 every day for the last week, or like 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Actually, no, a lot longer than that. But like I've been super serious since I started like the triathlon, because my volume's way up and I need it.
Yeah, because you're friggin' training an insane amount.
Yeah, and it's going to get crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sleep is good.
Sleep is...
But waking up early to you...
sleep are the most important.
...is valuable because you can get a lot done. No one else is awake during that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's worth going to bed at what time?
Like
8 or 9?
8 to 9.
Because it's like after 8 or 9 o'clock, what are you guys doing?
Dude.
Chilling, watching Netflix.
Exactly. Maybe trying to work, but my brain's shot, so I'm not actually getting work done.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We got to end this.
Okay.
Mark really actually needed to leave a while ago. Oh, man, there's so much. Oh, gosh. Yeah, we're way past it. That's it, guys.
Dope. Thanks, guys.
So pumped. Thanks, Jake, for being here.
Dude, Josh is the man. Like,
you're the man.
So proud of what you've
dude.
Freaking accomplished, man. It's awesome.
It's also, thank you.
Yeah.
Super appreciative to have you.
Thanks, dude.
And get to know you. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
You.
It's been great.
All right. Peace out, guys. We'll do a version 2 here.
Let's go.
Maybe leave some comments about like what fitness questions you have, what business questions do you have.
Totally.
This would be
mindset.
sick. Yeah, what any of those
sleep,
kinds of
nutrition, training.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
And then make sure to subscribe, blah, 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 blah.
Boom.
All right, we're out.
All right.
Thanks, dude.
Dude, let's go. Let's go.